Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I want to talk about conspiracies, conspiracy theories, and be aware of anybody kicking conspiracy theories. There's a thin line between making someone consciously aware of something and diving far into the lights of an illusion of calling something a conspiracy. And then diving into all the lights and illusions, what we would call as theories. The theories added to this conspiracy. There's a thin line between the two. So be aware of anybody who's strongly kicking this type of science or brain mechanism of conspiracies and something being a conspiracy theory. You know what I'm saying? Because we can be consciously aware of the conspiracy, but we don't have to get lost into the theories of it and create arguments around it. Now here's what I mean by that. What you need to understand is the word con itself is tied to illusion. It deals with light. Anything that's dealing with illusion or a misrepresentation of something, or something that's coming in the form of this but is really representing another energy, that's a con. So this is how you get con artists. So when you look at what a con artist actually does, is what I'm talking about. So anything that's attached to con, I don't give a fuck if it's constellations. Constellations are what? Lights. Lights, stars, which is what? Lights is illusions, right? It creates realms of realities. Your realm of reality is an illusion. So, you know, when we talk about constellations, conspiracies, con artists, contacts, content, you know what I'm saying? Look, when you develop content, anything that's developed with the C-O-N, this is dealing with manipulation and illusion in some way, shape, or form. So when we look at conspiracy, first of all, let's just look at the spiritual, mythical nature of it. Conspiracy is cons your spirit can see. So your spirit see when it realizes things. It don't see the lights how y'all think the physical forms of light is. It see in the spiritual realms. So it has to realize things the best way it can and interpret it through the shapes and forms that is taking place in the energy realm. So when we're talking about conspiracy is cons your spirit can see. So when you realize something, that means you can see what's going on, and you don't have to be blind. You could put some shades on, or put some fucking chlorine in that in the water, so it can have some clairvoyance, so things don't be blurry in your life, and you see things kind of cloudy. You know, you could be able to see what's actually going on behind this light, aka just like you on Earth, you can't see the sky when the sun is blocking you. So you just see that light, and with that light trying to get you to worship and create and things of that nature. But when that light passes, you see what was actually behind that light. You see the space and location and the vortex that's controlling that light. This is how we come up with concepts of spirals and shit. This is why, you know, the sidereal and tropical is retarded, because they're both missing the point and they're both miscalculated. But sidereal and Vedic even more, just because of what I'm talking about right now. We know the stars move in these spaces, but what's making them move in these spaces the way that they're moving in these spaces? Then we can understand their influences. We know what was first, we know what was second, and then we know how to bring those two together to be in this third dimensional 360. Now, for the most part, when we're talking about conspiracies, it's cons that your spirit can see. So once your spirit is already in a con, which is this light body, and you're going to be in a bunch of experiences, your spirit going to actually see what you're actually doing. Now, also, when you look at the word inspire and look at, you take out N is going within, so you know inspirational, inspire, that's things that inspire you on the inside. So we know conspire, anything that was conspired was something that make you feel good for the outside, for the external realm, some type of shape and form you wanted to get. So either it was outside influences to make you get inspired to do that conspire. For an example, this is why someone conspire and get conspiracy charges, because just because you was the driver and the 4 people that was in your car went and robbed the bank, you still conspired in that circumstance or situation. So your ass is going to jail too. You see what I'm saying? But the ultimate goal and outlook was something physical. Some money. That's why y'all robbed the bank. So y'all conspired to rob the bank. Y'all said fuck what y'all inspired to do, because what y'all had to set aside y'all morals and compromise with would allow y'all to obtain what y'all want to conspire to do. See what I'm saying? So it's conspire, and then, like I said, it's cons your spirit could see. Now that we understand that, you need to understand how to you need to understand this also. And this is why you need to beware of people who kick conspiracy theories. But you may be a person who's in the business of trying to decipher and break down conspiracy theories. But like I said, here's when it comes in, where there's a thin line between making people consciously aware and a person being indoctrinated in just the theology of conspiracy theories and that frequency vibration itself. See, being lost in that frequency vibration itself, you're still in that world. For an example, let's just take jobs for an example, right? Now, or a certain business. Now, this certain business is a conspire. It conspired to do something and gain residuals and have a bargain and gain system and you know, a demand and supply, a supply and demand system, right? So that's what it conspired to do. Now, based upon that light and illusion, you get inspired to participate, right? Now, once you participate in that business or job, based upon the physical shapes and forms and the illusions that it conspired to be, your spirit start to realize that everything is not made up to what it's to be. So now you start to be consciously aware on what's really keeping this conspiracy, because that's what it is. That's all a conspiracy is. What's keeping this conspiracy running? Now, you might be the person who quit that business or quit that job or whatever like that, right? And then you're going to tell other people that what kind of illusions this is taking form is and what you have realized. Now, this is what you need to realize, right? You have just became a preacher in that world. You are nothing but a preacher in that world. For an example, if you truly want to leave and detach yourself for something that you have realized has been a conspiracy, then what you would do is don't pay it no more attention. Don't give it no more light. Don't give it no more source. Put your focus on something else. But the simple fact that you put your focus on there, here's where the thin line comes in between letting people be consciously aware of what's going on or being indoctrinated into the conspiracy theory. Now, you're going to waste a lot of your time and experience in your life on preaching to others this conspiracy theory and what people need to do. That's when you indoctrinate it. When you make people consciously aware of what's going on and you lead by examples, and you don't harbor on the experience of tearing down whatever spirit created that. You're just on your path of creating what you're creating, and if it's in opposition to whatever business you left, that's up for the people in between to pick which system is better. But you're here to lead by example and not waste your energy on the actual theory itself, because at the end of the day, it still remains a theory. And once we get to spiritual truth, we know everybody got their own individual spiritual outlook. So if I was to create a business, I got my own spiritual outlook on why I created that. Now, other people who may look at it in their own way down the line may differ from why even though what I do may even be bad onto others. So it's going to be a lot of theories created around it. But to actually harbor energies on these theories is declining your spirit. See what I'm saying? So for the most part, if you are more of the person who lead by example, and then you are consciously aware, and then anyone who acts, you're not forcing anyone who acts, or if you're in the spirit from time to time just to put the bug in people's ears, but you're not forceful with it, and you're letting people act, you're more in the agreeable nature, and you're leading by example. That's why they got that saying, don't speak unless it was asked. You see what I'm saying? Because your 2 cents might not be received well. So, this is why you got to be careful with people who are always kicking this conspiracy theorist thing, because they have just became preachers, but just in that world. They're not even taking themselves out of that world. So, you can sit here and tell somebody about a conspiracy theory all day, but this is what your spirit is involved in. This is what your spirit is lost in. Your spirit is lost in a con. And the deeper that you're lost in it, the more energy you're going to put into it, into thinking that you're getting out of it. And it's going to play out in your life as into you thinking that you're cracking some type of conspiracy theory. And really you're just playing a preacher and giving that energy itself more source. If you get what I'm saying. So be careful around being around people that kick a lot of conspiracy theories, and be careful with you diving yourself into the conspiracy theory. It's okay to understand a conspiracy, but don't get lost into the theories behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody can make up a theory behind it, but no one initially know the original pinpoint of it. Same way you got to give every spirit the benefit of the doubt. Same way everybody don't know everything, all your reasons of why you do. I don't give a fuck if you tell everybody your reasonings. What is your reasoning for you telling everybody your reasonings for shit? Nobody never knows these things. And these are the creation of things. So when you got a mass of people looking at one specific thing that a bunch of other people may have clinged on to or related to, you still have to understand it comes from the groundings of the creation of a specific person's outing and their meanings and reasonings. And for that, knowing that, you can never come to a final conclusion on why something is specifically made that way, or why that's specifically the reason everybody see it that way. You can never really know that. So all you can do is lead by example and understand energy frequency vibrations, and then you will be able to understand if that energy correlates to you or not. So if it's something you don't agree with, don't attach yourself to it. Lead by example and either have something better, have something better to go against it, or go about your way. This is why I say the same thing with atheists and things of that nature. If you see an atheist heavily keep talking about Christian, that atheist is a Christian. That's just their way of being a Christian. You see what I'm saying? That's their way of trying to find it. Otherwise, they would just go along their business and don't pay any of it any mind. Same way, if you're gonna be a religious person, how you gonna be a religious person but you're just into one religion? If you're going to be a religious person, you need to be into all religions. See what I'm saying? So, it's just the same thing on a polar opposite. The atheist is still in the realm of trying to search for God the same way the religious person is trying to search for God. They just got their two ways of doing it. Same shit. Now, and then it's all a conspiracy. So that's what you have to understand. Also, there was another point I wanted to make. Also, what was that point? I don't know. Who cares? But for the most part, that's what a conspiracy is. So be careful being around anyone who dive too far into the theories. But it's okay to understand a conspiracy. But we would never truly understand the specific pinpoint on where how something is originated, because same way you want the benefit of the doubt that no one genuinely know the meanings and reasons of why you do that, you always want that to yourself, right? So get that benefit of the doubt and quit being a spiritual hater and quit hating on all these other spirits just because these spirits have more intellectual ability to make other spirits follow them than you. You see what I'm saying? Stop being a spiritual hater. You know what I'm saying? That goes for the people, globe earths, flat earths, wave earths, motherfucking hot scientists. Anybody want to motherfucking look at the world or whatever like that. Stop being motherfucking spiritual haters. Even religious atheists, religious people, y'all hating on other people, religious atheists, y'all hating on. Stop being spiritual haters. Once you understand the spirit, then you'll know what Pacific spirit you need to fight, because that'll be the spirit that's attacking you. Other than that, your ass need to go somewhere and goddamn chill. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.